Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Procure. In the last 5 to 6 years, we have seen a massive shift into and massive activities into digital space where all procurement departments are looking to either digitize their processes or they've already been through a digital transformation or they've been through multiple digital transformation. So today the question we are going to ask is, are you tired of hearing about digital transformation and what does the future look like for us? So Nishish, tell me, have you been on a digital journey and what has your experience been and what do you think is the importance of digital transformation and should we have digital tools to enable us?
So I've been on multiple digital transformation journeys, and there are a lot of learnings. But if I have to sum up, I would talk about three things. One, technology is just an enabler. It is not to be seen as a silver bullet which will fix everything. We have to identify the problem. Technology comes in to solve it. It's not the solution to everything. So that of course has been one of the learnings for me. The second is also we need to make sure that at the end of the day, it will be the procurement team members utilizing the technology. So they need to be brought up to speed in regards to what the change is going to be, how it is going to add value, and to avoid any inhibition what they will be working on once the technology is implemented. Because I've also seen many team members and procurement professionals, whenever you talk about digital or bringing in technology, they see it as a threat, and which is definitely not the case. The whole intent is to make the processes more efficient and free up the time which the procurement professionals can then utilize on a more value adding activities, right? Spending time with the stakeholders, understanding the needs of the business. So that will be the second. And third, of course, is to understand what business problem are we trying to solve and not to operate only in the silo of procurement and looking at a tool that this is only for procurement. There has to be a clear link to the business problem and what value it will generate for the business. So these, at least for me, have been the three learnings basis the experience of being on multiple journeys. That's what I wanted to share.
No, those are good points, and I kind of relate to it as well because, understanding those things help you go on the right journey.
Yes, they do. And but I'm more curious to understand or hear about your experiences. You also, I know, have been on multiple digital transformation journeys and you have a lot of experience and work which you have put in around the digital transformation. So what has been your experience and some of the learnings?
Okay, so I'm going to take this journey back to when I started my career. Throughout all the organizations that I worked for, I've been part of different transformation projects, right? So
Mhm.
technology is not something which has come in only today, but the conversations around digital has drastically changed. We started the journey where we were talking about big P2P solutions. We were talking about, document management system. We used to look at taking data or taking documents and converting that in some kind of system, right? And the problems that we used to hear at that time was more around the bad quality of data.
Mhm.
How can we translate this, whatever we've been doing in last 20 years, how do we translate that now into a system? It's going to be very difficult. How are we going to govern? But over time, I think those challenges got overcome and they got addressed to the current state where we're talking about AI and technology is so rapidly changing every day, so it's very very hard to keep up with that. So from a journey or evolution perspective, it's really come a long way. I don't hear a lot of people say, oh, data cleaning cannot be done, it's not possible. That conversation is not happening anymore. But yes, I think one of the key challenges that I feel that procurement has still has with technology is one, understanding what is the right technology project to go on. Because, if we talk about big implementations of entire source to procurement or source to pay or source to contract modules, it requires a lot of investment, a lot of time, and a huge change element piece, which is very difficult to achieve. So I think one needs to start small, and one needs to understand if there is a heavy capital investment and a lot of time and change management, how are they going to achieve this over the time? And with technology changing so rapidly, how are they going to evolve with that?
Yeah, and now that you share this piece, it reminds me that one of the challenges has been around the leadership change, because most of these projects, when we invest in technology, are for long term. And as the leadership changes, the vision around the technology also changes, and the new leader may come in with a certain vision and preference for certain software, which could be different from what the predecessor had, and that leads to a complete shift in how we approach digital transformation. So, have you faced any similar challenge in your experience, or have you witnessed something of that sort?
I have witnessed that in multiple organizations, but particularly when you're in a leadership role, I think one good way of addressing that is, when you define a technology project, don't define it to achieve procurement efficiencies. You need to design projects which are targeted towards business efficiency. So from a business case perspective, when we start, if we start saying that, oh, by implementing this tool, my turnaround time will reduce, because that doesn't mean anything to business, right? But when I say, okay, if I am able to implement X technology, I will be able to save X amount of money for the company, or I will be able to deliver the product faster to my stakeholder, then yes, I have the attention, right? So I think it's how you build the business case, irrespective of the change in leadership. It's the right business case which will make sure that the project sees the light of the day. I think that is an approach which I have taken in multiple stands, and it has really worked for me. It doesn't matter who comes in or who goes out. If you've defined the right purpose, business will make sure they support your case for it. I think that's one point. But you had touched upon one point earlier of the team who actually uses the product. They have to accept it. So I think I'm going to give you a very interesting example that I've used. I've made sure that when we are implementing technology, it's not just the big technology that we talk about. You have to find the low-hanging fruits and utilize them. Okay. So one example is, we used to have a lot of forms that used to be circulated for manual signatures, and they used to always get lost in that approval cycle. It would be either on somebody's desk or in somebody's inbox. There was no transparency. And this caused a lot of time on my team's part or on end users' part to go and look for where the document was. So we created simple forms. I mean, in today's time, that's one of the most easiest things, which doesn't require a lot of investment. It doesn't require a lot of time to deploy, right? So you can turn it around in 2 days, as simple as that. And once you do that, my team was able to free up all of that time, because now at a click of a button, you can see where the document is. At a click of a button, you can make sure that the document is archived in the right place. You don't have to find a person to see where that particular document is, correct? So you've taken out that element from their tray and freed up the time. Once you show them that how going digital will make a difference. Yeah. So this is a mind shift change which needs to be brought about. Using technology is not just about giving them the technology, it's showing them how to use it in the right way and what benefits that they derive from it. I think that whole process really, really helps in changing that mindset. I'm not sure if you've tried that in your workplace or if you've tried a different strategy, but from my perspective, bringing the digital mind shift happens only in this way, when you start seeing things in action and you start seeing, okay, now I have time to focus on my category management or my spend analysis, or to actually go and sit with a stakeholder, right? Because on our podcast, we're talking about so many different things, and obviously one person can only do that much. So this is where you see the value, that take out the transactional stuff, focus on your strategic work. Technology is not there to take over you or your job. It is to help you, like you said, it's to enable you to do the right things. This is a mindset I think, I always speak to people about, in my team about, and try and help them understand this perspective of things.
Fully agree. And one story that I can think of is when we were trying to implement automation and we were trying to automate the buying process of raising the requisition, and it triggered a lot of anxiety amongst the buyers because they thought it will make their jobs redundant. However, the discussion with them was around how it will free up the time from the very transactional activities, and then they can spend time in talking to the suppliers, talking to the end stakeholders, business users, to really understand what is the problem and where we can optimize. And then the response was much more positive to the project. So I fully agree with you.
Yeah, so you've triggered another story from my side where, we sat down. I, joined this organization who was ready to go on a journey to transform complete source to pay. And I just called the whole team and I said, I just want to hear what your challenges are. So when they started talking about their challenges, there was a lot of ranting in there about what they were not happy about. And it kind of helped because when we did go on that journey and it was time for the adoption phase, I called the same team back again and I said, we are deploying this. This technology is going to solve 1, 2, 3, 4 problems that you came and shared with me a few months back. Now they could relate to what was being said, right? So I think this is the perspective that, you need to understand what is the technology going to do for you. It's not just about implementing big systems. It's about implementing the right thing. Also, I think the shift has come about where, in the technology space, going into best in class versus best in breed, we are talking about so many things and there are so many technologies for procurement. I think that we need to understand that if there are so many technologies in the market, there is obviously a need that has been identified. There is obviously, people can see that it will deliver certain results for them. So from that perspective, I think assessing properly what your organization needs is the key to selecting what journey you're going to go on, rather than taking multiple journeys and not being able to successfully deliver what you're looking for.
Fully agree.
Right. So, we hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we hope we've tried to give you a different perspective on digital transformation and journeys that you need to take. Do like, subscribe, and leave comments. And if you would like to speak to us, you know how to reach out to us. Thank you for joining us today and have a good day.
Bye bye.